Alright, alright, alright. Welcome to another one of BumpmyStump's World of Tanks console replays. What's a happening? What's a happening? Hot stuff. If you know what movie that's from, you're cool shit. How about a Bumps Garage series video? I ain't done one for years, and I actually sat down probably a month and a half ago during the WWE op and did a garage video, made it all the way to, I don't know, the British maybe, and it was 45 minutes long, and I was like, okay, I guess I gotta separate this. I figured maybe I could do something a little bit quicker and do it per nation and do, you know, maybe I'll put together a couple nations towards the end, which I don't have many tanks in, but one video for the American, one for the Russian, one for the German type of deal. Once we get into Czech and Yugoslavia or whatever, then I really don't have any tanks, so maybe I won't even include them, I don't know. But there's a couple other things, you know, I figured this gives me a chance to talk about the UI too at the same time. So without further bullshit and me yabbering on, let's get to the meat of the video. Let's get to the meat. So we'll do the Americans. American line. American line was the first line I went up, of course, because I'm America. America. But some of these I still own. I'm kind of a tank collector. A lot of people sell everything, and I try to save almost everything, even if I hate it. There's a few that I've sold that I hate, but for the most part I try to save them. But a lot of these I don't play, and I almost never play, and I probably will almost never ever play again. And I still think that Wargaming, when you go to your filters, there should be a filter in there called mothballs or storage, and you can add all the tanks that you don't ever play. Reason being is tanks like the T2 Light, there would have to be some kind of op that required me to have so many hits for me to take this tank out. There's no reason to take it out. So it would be nice not to see it in the garage. Not a big deal if you have 40 tanks. When you have over 300, it would really be a... Oh, look at that. Sorry. I've been sitting here talking so long, my Xbox decided to dim out. Anyways, let's just get on with it. Like I said, there should be a storage thing in there where you can click on it, put your tanks in storage, and you don't ever see them when you log on. Now, some people say, well, just use your favorites tab. Well, maybe you use your favorites tab for favorites. Imagine that. But anyways, I digress. Let's get to the meat. T2 Light. Don't like it. Never liked it. But I paid to put camo and stuff on it when I was first in the game. And I've always made it a habit, if you pay to put camo on something, that then I'm going to keep it for the most part. Kind of a piece of shit. But, you know, it is what it is. Now these right here, these ones weren't so bad. These were kind of fun in game. These, they didn't update the model at all. What a pretty crappy looking... Maybe that's what it looked like in real life or in the blueprints or whatever. I don't know. But these are fun to play in game. And we got the... Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. It came out of nowhere. Then we got the X1 version. For when I got my Xbox One, they gave me this pretty green one. Ain't that special. Still, another tank that I ain't never gonna play. Locust. Never really liked this tank either. But, and that's something I don't understand. As we go through these, you'll see some tanks have camo only on the top, and then the hull of the tank down bottom doesn't have camo. Other tanks, the hull does have camo. Why is that? Is it just laziness on the part of Wargaming, or was that how some tanks actually were? I don't know. Someone tell me. Because I don't know. But when you look at this, it has camo down the back of the hull, and camo down the front of the hull, but no camo on the sides. Strange. This thing, I never got into this. when this first came out, it was a Christmas thing, and it had made it look like, I don't know, it was called the Blitzen or something, and made it look like a reindeer or some stupid thing. I don't know. Never liked it. Never liked this version. I don't think I've ever even played this tank. I think it just sits here. Couldn't get into it. The M7, when I got this tank, I didn't want to play it. I was like, ugh, God, that's ugly. But you know something? I had quite a few good games in this little piece of crap. That rounded out, because everything is so rounded, almost nothing is flat on it, except for the radio box. It'd be amazing the amount of shells that I bounced with this thing. I'd be like, oh God, I'm dead, and then bang, bounced off. Yes. So this was kind of a fun little quick tank to beat around him. I haven't played it forever, because I don't like it that much. But you know. Then we're on to the Chaffee. I think one of the coolest looking light tanks in the game. And they did pretty good with the model. Again, no camo down the side. But still, not bad. They used to, when the light tanks only went to like tier 5, this was the machine. And now, of course, light tanks go up to tier 10. That, yeah, not a big deal now. But it got your feet wet for light tanks, I guess, which I still am not good at, so. T21, never really liked this tank either. But, I had to go through it, obviously. Nothing fancy. Plain Jane. I had nothing really good to say about it. It was average. American tanks, a lot of them are average. They're not great at anything. They're just kind of average at everything. And they're not really bad at anything. That pretty much sums up the T21. 𝐁𝐮𝐬𝐬, I think I won this in a Dropbox. I've never played it. Hey, that's something that's missing on the UI. I think. I can't see anything down there. I don't know what the stars mean. The helmets mean there's a crew in it. Stars, maybe that means elite. Maybe. Chaffee's elite. Yeah, that's probably what it means, elite. So, obviously a premium tank can't be elite, I guess. So maybe that's what the star means. They used to have a little mark when you hadn't played a tank yet. When you buy a tank, you hadn't played it yet, it'd have a little red orangish mark on it. On the thumbnail. I've never played the 𝐁𝐮𝐬𝐬. I won it, equipped it, and there it sits. Not a light tank player. The Brazil, though, I did play this one. I bought this when they charged way too much for it, because I thought it was a really, really cool looking tank. They released this before the American lights, like the Bulldog and stuff, came out. And so I was like, hey, I gotta try it. And I don't remember what the figure was, but it was, I don't know, 10 or 12,000 gold or something for a light tank. I can't remember back that long ago. It was horrible. But being a tank collector and having the YouTube channel, I was like, screw it. Buy it. And the weird thing about this is the ammo choice. I'm not going to really get into it. Well, maybe I will. But the ammo in it, where does it show the ammo loadout? It doesn't show it that way. Oh, down bottom. There we go. The regular ammo is HAP, whatever that is. And it's only got 102 millimeters of penetration. Premium, it's got 250 millimeters of penetration. So that's why I have 40 of them. You notice that it does less damage too. So it was back when this came out, there wasn't any tanks like that. This was the first one that had the backwards ammo stuff, where the premium did more damage and had more penetration. One of the first, anyways. And it costs a little bit of money to run this because you almost have to run premium. There's no getting away with it because you get stuck in tier 10 games constantly. So, but I think I got my ace on it and stuff, and had a few good games in it. And again, I'm not a light tank player. M41 Bulldog, pretty much the same thing. Although I like this one a little bit better because it's got a better gun. The ammo choice is better. typical 90mm. I think it's a 90mm, if I'm not mistaken. Customize. Right. Oh, it's a 76mm. I thought it was a 90. It must be the next one up. Must be the 90. Must be the T49 has the 90, probably. It's been so long since I played them that I don't remember. Still a pretty cool looking tank. Falcon T92. I've played this once, I think. I'm pretty sure I won this in a drop box. And I'm not a light tank player, so... Although I think it's pretty cool looking. It's a cool looking tank. Here's a T49. You'll notice I don't have the big gun. I have the 90 on it. That's why I was thinking 90. I don't... when this first came out, everyone was... You know, get the big gun on it and zoom around behind someone and give him a big 1,000 damage or whatever. Smack him in the ass, but I just never... I got this long after it was released, and I'm just... For as bad of a light tank player I am, it's better to just peck away at 250 a shot. For me, have the higher penetration. T22 Proto. When this first came into the game, boys and girls, you couldn't beat it with any other tier 1 or 2 tank, or even tier 3. The first, I don't know, it was a month or two. I think they released it in the game, but it had the armor of a tier 5 or something. Whatever the hull comes from, I think is the... I'm not going to go through it, but it comes... The hull was another tank, like the tier 5 or 6 something. T23 E3 or T26 E3 or something. So nothing could penetrate it at lower tiers. You had to get behind it. And they updated that fairly quick. But for a little while there, it was impenetrable. So you could go down to tier 1 and just get 10 kills, 9 kills, 8 kills, and not even lose any damage. But they patched that pretty quick. It was funny. T2 medium. The reason I have this and the M2 medium and the M3 Lee, all tanks that I didn't do good in at the start of the game when I first started playing. And I've bought them back a long time ago. I had sold them when I passed them, said they're pieces of shit. Of course, I didn't know how to play the game. And I had very horrible win rates and stuff in them. And I bought the T2, the M2, and the M3 Lee all back in the theory to, hey, I'm going to jump back in it and play some games and bring their stats up. Yeah, that was 4 years ago probably I bought these. And there they sit. I'm glad I bought them, though, because, you know, now we don't get any tier 2s and tier 1s, and half the tier 3s are gone, so... Which is completely stupid wargaming, completely. Just like this layout, this thing is just... The fact that you can't zoom in or out, the fact that there's no garage, you don't want a barren wasteland. Pathetic. M4, it's a Sherman, gotta own all the Shermans. Ram, it's a Sherman, gotta own all the Shermans. M4A2E4, again, it's a Sherman, have to own all the Shermans. Ripper, same deal. I think it's ugly. I think I originally bought this, and I was like, oh my god, that's so freaking ugly. And I think it came in like a 3-pack of different tanks, and I sold it, and then I won it in a loot box or something, and I was like, yeah. At this point, the key to loot boxes are keep all the tanks that you win, because then you have a chance to win the gold later. So never sell them. So that's why it's still here. It's horribly ugly. That is just... It looks like some kid did that. You can do better wargaming. Seriously. Sherman Jumbo. Awesome tank. Again with the camo that only does the top part. Alright, okay. You notice how a lot of these aren't glossy either. I'm going to bring this up for a reason. Most of them are matte. And I think that's pretty much what they would be. They wouldn't be glossy in real life. It'd be like a matte finish. Wait till we get to some other tanks here and explain to me why something's different. Easy 8, awesome tank. The Fury and the Thunderbolt, all pretty much the same basic idea. All great tanks. This is my Fury. And I'm pretty sure when I first bought the Fury, you couldn't put a skin on it. I'm pretty sure when you first bought it, skin wasn't available. And all of a sudden one day I was looking through and it's like, I can put skins on this? I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I played it for a year not knowing I could put skins on it. but I'm pretty sure there wasn't skins available when it first launched. And this is another one where I paid way too much for just to get. I mean, now they give them away constantly. They said, though, that's another one of Wargaming's deals. Once in a lifetime, super rare, not to be offered again. And now everyone can get them free. Yep. Thunderbolt. Pretty good looking tank. I still think the Fury's a little bit better looking. It's just got a little bit better. Just, I don't know how to explain it. Just looks a little bit better. But still a great tank. T20. Nothing really good to say about that. Oh, look. Look, this one has very limited, but it does have camo down below the hull, on the bottom hull. Weird. T20, it was a tank. It was... Is that the hull that was... I think that's the hull that was back on the Tier 1 there. I'm pretty sure that was it, the T20 hull. Or the T23 E3. Might be this one, I think. Either way. Of course, it could be the same hull, I guess. This one was given away to Founder in the Founders Pack when you bought that. I never bought it. So, I wasn't around during the beta. I downloaded the game right after it was launched. Right after the beta. So I don't think I was able to buy this for the Founders Pack, because I think they did that right at the end of the beta. And I always wanted it, I saw it, and I was like, I don't have that tank, I gotta have it. So they offered it, like 2 years later offered it, and I was like, oh god, I'm gonna grab that. Because you ain't gonna be able to grab that anymore, and now you can just buy it right off the tech tree, I think. Pathetic, but that's the way it is. Eagle 7. Awesome looking tank. I think it looked a little bit better before the update, but I could be wrong. But look how this one's slightly glossy. So this one has a little gloss to it. This one has no gloss. Zero. See how there's no gloss whatsoever to that. Then you've got this one which has just a little bit of gloss to it. A little bit of sheen. I don't mind that. I don't even mind that. That's, I can forgive that. That's just, lighting, shining a little bit on it. I'm okay with that. Awesome looking tank though, isn't it? I don't know what the bucket's for. Is the bucket to piss in? Does it have some piss in it? I can't see. You would think that bucket would fall off. But, we are in World of Tanks, I guess. Great tank. I love it. Pershing. My goodness, I keep on yawning. It's freaking 9 o'clock in the morning. Why am I yawning? I'm just crazy. The Pershing. That's a good tank, too. I didn't think so when I first went through it. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, look at that. We got camo down bottom. Sorry. We have camo down bottom, though. So why do some tanks have it and some don't? The world may never know. We may never know. The world may never know. But like I was saying, I didn't really love it when I was playing up through it. Years later now, I realized how to play the American mediums. Very good tank. Now, if you're playing this like a medium, you're doing it wrong. This or this, either one. I originally had this. This is the tank I had most games ever in on my account. Played the hell out of this. This is the tank that got me booted from the Super Test program. Yep, I was a Super Tester. And then I complained because if you look right there at the front plates, the second one in all of a sudden was missing. You could see the hull back there, and that was missing. And then all of a sudden, we started getting penned constantly. And I'm like, I've got 400 games in this tank. I know how it acted. So I was complaining about it on the forums. Well, apparently that was enough to get me booted from the Super Test program. And hey, look, guess what? Now you can see the plate's back. Now it has the hull, a plate, and then a second plate welded outside it. Isn't that weird? Yep. For a while they removed that plate, and then when they removed that plate, the armor was not as good, no matter what anyone wants to tell you. But I digress. I was right, they were wrong. And that's the bottom line. Back to the American mediums, though. If you play this like a medium, you're doing it wrong, because it's not fast enough, and it's got good enough armor that if you keep that turret wiggling and don't let them hit your booby tubes on the top, then you can do pretty good in this tank. T69, another tank that I hated. What horrible camo. What the hell is that camo? That camo is not the same camo that was on this tank before the update. That's laughable. That is pathetic. I never even noticed it till right this second. Because the camo will change as you go like this sometimes. Sometimes it'll change camo between the two tanks. You'll get a different camo when you go back and forth. That is some half-assed bullshit right there. Look at the... They just slapped a little bit of camo on it and called it good in a couple spots. Wow. There's another problem with the update Wargaming. Your lack of fucking attention to detail and your bullshit. Oh, that's good enough. That's not even camo. That camo pattern, I don't know if we can see it somewhere else. I'll do it on this tank. Let's see. We can do it, right? Customize. Appearance. I think, is that a urban one, I believe? Yep. That's how it should look. See how it's big square blotches? That's how it should look. Similar to that. Okay, rotate this. No, another thing, you can't rotate sometimes. You're supposed to be able to rotate right now. If you're in with your camos, you should be able to rotate. There's times I can rotate, other times I can't. I don't know, that's another bug in the game. But that's how that camo should look. Big square blotches. That was the free camo they gave us when they added the 4th camo slot. Originally you only had 3 camo slots. And they gave us a 4th camo slot, and this is the camo they gave you for free. And look at this shit. These little tiny blocks. That's some bullshit wargaming. Anyways, T69. I wanted the T57, and you had to go through this, obviously. This isn't a bad tank if you play it like a sneaky medium, get in behind someone and unload. Otherwise, it's kind of trolly, kind of piece of shit. A lot of shots bounce, miss. And I just can't get over the fucking lack of effort on that camo. I wonder if the other camos are like that. Let's go look. Look at this. All the camos in this are fucked up. Look at them. They're not supposed to look like that. They're all screwed up. Go to desert. Yeah, they're not supposed to look like that. They're like not meshed right. Some of them look fairly okay. That one would be passable, I guess. Yeah, they screwed up the camo on that tank. T95 E2. I don't know why this one's black in the thumbnail. And look, there it is again. There's that screwed up camo again. So that's the first time I noticed that the camo's screwed up on some of these. It's supposed to be big blotches, not little tiny squares. Alright, tank. Another tank they said that was going to be rare. Not as rare. They didn't stress as much as some of the other ones, but never seen before, blah, 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 and now everyone has them. With vengeance. Yeah. This is just a black version of this. Not a bad tank. Not a great tank. You know, I think it's more like it should be a tier 7, not a tier 8. It's just not quite strong enough to be tier 8. Death Stalker, though. This is the better of the M46s in the game. And the the smaller M48s, like the Undertaker. This is a much better tank because it has that small cupola. Small cupola, much better tank than this with a large cupola. Large cupola. Much better tank to play. And it just looks killer. That's just a really awesome looking tank. And again, we have like the low sheen, slightly glossed on the sides. Look at the gun mantlet area. Look how glossy that is. It's like made out of porcelain or something. See how glossy when you go like this? That's not the best one. I'll get a better one than that. But that's starting to make me wonder. I saw that and I was like, why is most of the tank you know, like a mattish with just a little bit of sheen to it, and then that's like glossy, like it's made out of glass, like someone made a pipe for smoking pot. That's what it looks like. It's made out of glass. And the barrel is too, I think. The barrel's kind of glossy. The barrel's really glossy. Look. Why would the barrel be glossy? Look at the front of it. So it's attention to detail like that that's just stupid. The rest of the tank is the right, but the gun and the mantlet and the barrel is all gloss. Yeah, Undertaker, kind of a piece of shit, and it's friggin' ugly, but I wanted to get the op done, and, you know. Stone Cold, a little bit better tank than the Undertaker. It's T95 E2 hull, pretty much. I run it with the single gun. I have the normal version too, and I don't run the auto loader just because I'm a loser like that. But it's a good tank. It's a good tank. I like it. Haven't played it a lot, but I do like it. A2 patent. This is the better version of the Undertaker because it just looks cooler. Much better looking tank. But again, the stupid cupola, you know, the big giant R2D2 that you have a good tank and then you gotta have that on the top. I guess historically accurate, maybe. I don't know. I would say if I owned that tank and I was running that tank in battle, if I was a commander, I'd rip that fucker off and just put a flat freaking top on it. I don't know, maybe in real life it was cool and it worked. Because in real life you couldn't aim your gun that well, but in this game it sucks. M46 patent. How you doing? Good tank. Really good tank. Another tank that I didn't love when I went through it. But if I jumped in it now, I know it's a really good tank. You just gotta play it right. It's pretty cool looking. I don't understand why it's two different colors. We'll get into that too right here. I'm going to even show you even different. See how the top and the bottom is a little bit different shade? It's passable on this color. But watch this. Let's go into appearance really quick. And let's go to the desert skin. Can I look at it? Let me spin it. I don't even have to spin it. Look at the difference in shades. Look at the turret compared to the gun and the hull. It's not lighting either, because if you spin it around, it stays consistent. I can't spin it right now, but it stays consistent. It's two different shades. That's the attention to detail these people at Wargaming put out. They have two different shades. It's just wrong. How did that get through quality control? Because they're idiots. And like I said, it's that way here in the garage too, with the green. It's just not as... It's harder to notice because it's not as giant of a difference. But it is different. The bottom is a lighter shade. Whatever. Good tank though. Good tank. Here we go. Here's one. You got the glossy. Not quite glossy, but it's got the... Okay, you look at this tank. And there's no real sheen to it at all. Very little. Then you get to this tank. And it's like, there's a little bit of gloss to it. Not bad, though. This one isn't horrible. I can still live with this one. I skipped this tank when I first got it. Went right straight through it because I just didn't... I just wanted the T57, and I didn't want another Tier 9 medium like the T69, which was Tier 8. I didn't want to play it. I just like, I don't want to play another one. I didn't like the T69. And I didn't want to play it again, so I skipped this and just got the T57. Look at the camo. We got camo up top. We got camo down the side of the tank. How about this one back here? Can't really tell. How about this one? This one's got side skirts. No, this one don't. That's just green. Can't really tell though. This tank though is a pretty good tank. It's a good bridge between the T69 and the T57. It's a good tank. Best looking tank in the game, I think. Right here. We even got camo down below. Everything on this thing just looks... This never looked as good before they updated it. They got rid of the huge cupola and put the new model to it a couple years ago, and it's just... This is, I think, the best all-around Tier 10 medium. And I know people are going to tell me I'm nuts. I haven't played them all, so you got to take that into consideration. But I got quite a few of them, and I love the Leopard prototype, and I love the 𝐿𝐚𝐫𝐚𝐠𝐞 31ER, and I hated the Japanese T61 or whatever that was. That was junk. I just got the E50, so can't tell you. But this tank is, oh, excuse me, I'm talking about the T10, I boo-booed. 𝐿𝐚𝐫𝐚𝐠 30B, not ER, and the Leopard. I was still thinking I was on tier 9 because of the tank before it. But at tier 10, I think the 𝐿𝐴MX 30B has been nerfed to the point it's not that great. I think the Leopard, although is a really good tank, it can get you into trouble way too quick because of how fast it is. So it's a little harder to play than this. And it's got 0 armor. This one has a little bit of armor. This can bounce a few shots here or there. And it just, again, with most most American tanks, it's not superb at anything, but it's really good at everything. So, M60, this one's not a bad tank either. It would be a really good tank if it didn't have that freaking stupid cupola. I mean, you get, you got 10 degrees of gun depression or whatever this tank probably has, 9 or 10 degrees or something, but it doesn't matter because you got that fucking cupola that even at this angle, you penetrate it, Even if you're going up a hill and you're shooting, your person below you shooting up like this. Boink right through that cupola. Because it's so tall. The tank is so tall and the cupola is so huge. It just sucks. But it is what it is. T95 V6. Oh, look at that. Again, another tank that would be good if it didn't have the fucking huge cupola. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's there. This tank would be really bouncy with all the angles on the turret. Be a really good tank, but you got that huge cupola, so you're screwed. T1 Heavy, T14, M6, all okay, I guess, for the respective classes. The T14, you got to load 100% premium pretty much, but with newer players, you'll bounce a lot of shells. I used to bounce a lot in this. I sold this at one point and then bought it back because I was playing with a couple people, and they're like, you got to get a T14. I'm like, I already had it, sold it. Oh, come on, let's do a 4-man T14 platoon. It was fun a little bit, but I haven't played it for 5 years probably, so. T29, the best tier 7 heavy in the game, but the camo doesn't go down the side of the hull for some reason. I play this with a 90 instead of the big gun because I think the reload speed outweighs the 300 damage. I'd much rather have the faster reload and do the 250, 240 damage. Really good tank. I am kind of bouncing between the big gun and the small and the 90 though. I think I prefer the 90 better just because it's more reliable. And the reload is quite a bit faster. So, I know it's kind of a toss-up. But if I want to play the bigger gun, I got this, right? Stupid freaking gold barrel. That is just about whatever. It is what it is. It's a good tank. T34, I think this was the second premium I bought. I bought the T26 Super Pershing first, and this was the second one. Playing this helped me a lot with playing the T30 American Tank Destroyer, because the stock T30 is pretty much this tank right here. Really slow reload. I mean, it is what it is, but it packed quite a punch when it hit. I mean, respectively, not as much as it does now, not as much as it doesn't feel as good now as it did back then, because there's so many tanks with higher, tier 8 mediums that do 450 damage. So, but back when I first got in the game, when there was only 3 nations, this was a pretty good tier 8 heavy. T32, pretty awesome. This is the tank I wanted when I was going up the median line, because it was just such a good looking tank compared to a lot of the American tanks. It actually looked like what I thought a tank should look like. And they haven't overdone it now. Still a good tank. Again, Not too much bullshit wrapped around it. So, but again, we got no camo down bottom on this one. So why do we have camo down bottom on the other one, but not this one? T34 black. I didn't buy the black tanks. If anyone's been around a long time, they know the story. Come home from work, the wife had bought them. I had made a video saying I will never buy them tanks. I'm not going to spend that much money. And she thought she did the great thing. She thought she was being such a sweetheart. What you going to do, though? I don't think I've ever played it. I don't think. I bought this and I've never played this either. I don't think either. It's just no interest. Patriot. Not a bad tank. Not a great tank. Fairly good at a lot of things, but not great at anything. I remember when it came out on PC, the T22 E5, everyone was screaming how much of a just amazing tank this was, and how great and how overpowered. Quickie Baby having videos of how this is the tank to play at tier 8 and blah 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 blah. As with most of these tanks, when it comes to console, it's highly nerfed. It's still not a bad tank, it's just a little slow. If it was a little bit faster, it'd be a pretty good tank. Chrysler K, another tank that they said on, they broke matchmaking on the PC. Oh, and look, this has camo down bottom. Wait a minute, this doesn't. Nope. But this does. Weird. Camo all the way down to the wheels on this one. Sorry for that. They said that these Chrysler Ks broke matchmaking. Came to PC, it didn't. I mean, come to console, it didn't. This gets... I can't say it gets penetrated with every shot, but I always get put in crappy games with them. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Capture King Tiger. Only played it a couple times. It's not a bad tank. But that's one of the tanks that Wargaming just taking your money, just giving you an American Tiger. I bought this. I've never played it once. I love the looks of it. I just don't like the 3-shot autoloader. I can't wrap my head around it. I'm not an autoloader person. I probably should play it because I've never played it yet, but it is one awesome looking tank. I wish I could get my T32 to look like that. Or I wish they offered a single shot with this. There's the Chrysler K again. Yep, I got both of them. I'm a loser. Sort of like Sergeant Slaughter, I got both of them. Now you look at this. Okay, I think I'm at the one where I want to show. This doesn't have too much gloss to it, but they changed this. This has like a metallic green now, where it didn't on the last update. Now the paint's almost like metallic, like Hot Wheels paint. I can forgive that. I run the single shot on it, and I like it that way. This would be a really good tank if we didn't have that stupid cupola. But here's the standard version of it, and look at the paint. This is the one I wanted to point out. Look at it. This whole tank is made out of glass. Look at the light shine down there. Either that, or else they've got about 15 coats of clear coat on this. You don't notice it much on this side till you turn this way. But look at the back panel right there. Look by the fuel tank on the back. Look at that one panel. Now you don't see it on the other one, so they missed it there. It should look like the panel to the right, not the panel to the left right there. Half of it, 90% of it's super glossy, and the rest isn't. How dumb. How can that get out of quality control? How can... I don't get it. How this can make it out when every other tank is like this. And like this. And like this. But this tank... yeah, we're going to put glossy coat on it. Because, yeah, it's made out of porcelain. Tank's awesome though, but the lack of attention to detail with these idiots that run this game and develop this game is just... M103, well, we're back to no gloss. The way it should be. Awesome tank. I put up a video a few weeks ago. I had like almost 8,000 damage in it on a loss. A loser. Or if I just had a little bit more help at the end. Had a couple tanks, tier 9, that did nothing. It was a really good game. And a really good tank, love it. Phase 1. It says I have 3888 XP in this. I haven't played this tank yet. I don't know where the XP came from. No clue. I ain't played it yet. But whatever, Wargaming. I didn't want the Fangola. The stupid, you know. I wanted to wait for this one. So, of course, I paid a lot of money for it. As usual. Because I'm a sucker. Such a sucker. I already have the Concept 1B, which I haven't played yet either. And look at this. This has the gloss to it, too. Look. Harder to see. But it's there. Not quite as bad as the T54E2, but I just don't understand why some tanks come out. I could forgive this one. This one's sort of enough that I can forgive it. Maybe this one, the model is after it's gone through a puddle, and they just put that one on by mistake. You know, when you go through a puddle, everything got glossy. Maybe they may just put the wrong model in the garage, or lack thereof garage, but Concept 1B, I'm going to play this in the next few days. Probably make a video of it. Pretty cool looking tank. I know it's going to be nerfed compared to the PC one because, you know, the PC one just came out not too long ago. And Quickie Baby and them said it was, geez, a really good tank. Of course, it's going to be nerfed here. E5. I don't mind this gloss. This is just, you know, slight gloss. Good enough. No camo. Oh, no, we got camo down bottom on this one. Look at that. See, we do have camo on the hull on this one. Very light, but it's there. This is an awesome tank. Everyone should have this tank. Again, not the best at tier 10, but really good at everything. T57 Heavy. This tank was a monster before they nerfed it way back. And now they might have buffed it since then, I don't know. But what they did way back was they made it the reticle bloom more. So between shots, your circle got bigger. So you had to shoot, and you'd be reloaded, and then you had to sit there and still wait for the reticle to go all the way down, the bloom to go down, which made it a lot harder to play. And it pissed me off, and I don't think I've played it once since then. I mean, I played it a couple times after that, and said, nope, can't deal with that. And maybe they've upgraded it since then and, you know, unnerfed it. But this tank was awesome. It really was when it first came out. I had it pretty quick, like I said, because I did the T69 really quick and then skipped the T54. So I was like, had it within the first month or so of it being out, and it was a boss. It was fun to play. Don't play it. M8A1, just didn't want to sell it. T69, I had some of my best games in this little bitch. This thing's a monster. This thing is a sneaky ninja ass bitch. Really awesome games in this. I think I had a 11 kill game once in it. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Just really good tank. Wolverine, not so good. Yeah, this is another one I bought back because I didn't do good in it when I was going up this line. Had to get the Hellcat. That was a whole, I gotta get that Hellcat. And wanted the Hellcat really bad. And the Wolverine was just, But I bought it back and saying that I was gonna, you know, play it and get some good stats in it. Never have. 43 minutes. Holy shit! I gotta hurry. Hellcat, awesome tank. Ooh, ℔ 91 is online. Awesome tank. Was more awesome back when it came out, but still a good tank. Jackson, not so good of a tank. Hellcat's much better. Hellcat 105. I've played one game in this, I think. Awesome looking though. Isn't that just mean looking? Look at that. All tanks should look that awesome. That is just... Why can't every tank camo look this good? It's amazing. It's just awesome. This thing's a piece of shit. I mean, it's got like 5mm of armor all the way around, so you can't be seen. If you're seen, you're dead. And the turret only spins halfway, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, look at the gloss. Look at the gloss on the turret thing. We got some gloss. Got some gloss going on. Got some gloss on this one too, people. This thing was another piece of shit. Thought it would be kind of tough. Although I played it, you were allowed to play this on a version of the Proving Grounds, sort of, when the Proving Grounds first came out. You could play this before it was available. That's how they introduced tanks for a while. They would be in that proving ground. It would be one of the tanks when you played that level, you got that tank for that game. And I remember I pulled down, I recorded this somewhere, I pulled down and I parked right in front of a tank, and they just shot me, bounce, 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 and then it hit the turret ring, and my gun would be knocked out. And then my gun would be knocked out, and my gun would be knocked out, and then they bounce. They never damaged me except for took my gun out every time. And I said, in game, you're going to lose the gun every time you play that because of that big, wide, anyone shoots you in that big, wide ring, you lose the turret ring. And it's true. You see one of these in game, shoot it right behind the gun, anywhere in there, and the gun gets knocked out. So, you know, not very dangerous when you can knock the gun out every time you shoot them. And if you can't get to that or something, just shoot the R2-D2s on the sides. T22 not a bad tank. Not a bad tank destroyer. It was alright. I liked it. You notice there's no T28 in here. I couldn't stand the T28. I hated it. But I didn't mind the prototype. I like tanks with turrets. I'm a loser. I can't play non-turreted tanks very good. So this one was a lot better than the T28. Much better. When it first came out, though, it didn't have it had a turret like this. It didn't have the top on it. Remember that, boys and girls? I do. Then they put an actual turret on it with a roof. T30, awesome tank. I think the best American tank destroyer in the game. The reason I say that, I love the T110E4, but this one just because sometimes you can get in an all tier 9 game, no tier 10s, and you get 7s and 8s. 8s and 7s against this, they don't stand a chance. You smack them for 750, 800, 750. Awesome tank. T95. Why is this black? Why are some tanks down here, most of them are the right colors? You get to the T95, it's like they didn't put a shaded picture in there. You just added a black picture. Duh, no one will notice. Who's going to notice? Anyone on TikTok? You know that sound? Who's going to notice? They're going to notice. Who's going to notice? I noticed. Why the fuck is it black? And there's more than one that's like that, but this is an awesome tank. I don't know if it's got the speed buff. 20 kilometers top speed. That sounds like it did, didn't it? I think the top speed originally was like 12 or 13. So now that it's 20, yeah, I should play it. I haven't played it for a while. I should. T124, the best tier 10 heavy in the American lineup. Yes, I know it's not a heavy, but really it is a heavy. It's got a turret. Plays like a heavy. It plays like a T110E5 that does 800 damage. So, love it. Love it. And I know it has a big cupola, and that's a downfall, but with the cupola being at the back of the turret, when you waggle your turret, see how far to the left and right it goes? If you have your turret, it's at the front of the turret, it doesn't move as much. I know it's physics here, boys and girls. If it's closer to the center of the turret, it kind of just rotates. Where it's at the back of the turret, it actually moves side to side when you turn your turret. So it makes it harder for people to hit it, because it's actually going like this. The whole cupola is moving back and forth, where if you go to a tank like, I don't know, I just want to find one that's close to the center. I don't know, we'll have to go way back here maybe. Let's go back to the T57, like right there. See, when you move that, see, it really doesn't move. If you're aiming right from the front right here, all it's doing is rotating. Do you understand? Now let's go back to the T110E4. I'm going to teach you something for any new players. Now watch this one when you do that. It's hard to do. It's not doing it the way it is. But the whole thing, when you move that, spin that turret around, it moves. When you turn the turret to the left, the turret ends up over here on the right-hand side of the tank. Whereas when it's towards the middle of the turret, it doesn't do that. So it's not as big of a downfall on this tank as it is on other tanks with the big turrets. big cupolas, not turrets. So, awesome tank, awesome tank. And last but not least, we got the E3. Whereas on this one, that sucks because it's stationary and you can't turn your turret. So, but it does have quite a bit of armor. So, I don't know. I don't like seeing these in game. It seems like I always have a hard time appending them. I've always been under the assumption that if I believe what I read, right beside the tracks in there's that little spot that should be penetrable. Either I never hit it, or it isn't penetrable. However, when I take it out, it seems like everything penetrates me from the front. So, I haven't played it a ton because it just seems like it gets raped. People just focus on you and just beat you to hell. And it just doesn't seem like it works. Now, maybe I just haven't had some good games in it. I know how this game works. This tank will act completely different for me than it will for some other people in some games. And then it'll act bad for them. I am still, like I said before, I've said a million times, I'm under the assumption, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, that when you enter a game in a match in this game, one team, either team green or team red or whatever, light blue and teal or whatever it is now, one team has a higher chance of getting good RNG. The other team has a lower chance of getting good RNG. One team always has an advantage. Why? I don't know. I don't think it's to keep players even. I don't think it's to say you're going to stay at 50% so you get put on the bad team. I just think it's the luck of the draw. Either you're put on the team that, and this isn't every game, but this kind of explains the one-sided routes, where you get 9 games out of 10 are one-sided. There's games where I play and I do great. I'm not an excellent player, I'm just an average player, but I'll have a really good game. Everything will pen. The next time in that same tank, 2 games later, I miss or bounce 3/4 of my shots. I'm not aiming different. I'm not all of a sudden stupid. I'm on the team that doesn't get the RNG bonus or something. And like I said, I don't know what it is. I think personally, it's because Wargaming wants everyone to have a chance to be awesome. They don't want to have a 11, 10-year-old kid come in and get to tier 8 and then lose every game and get his ass stomped because he'll stop playing. So if they make it so even that 10 or 11-year-old kid can come in, jump in a tank, and have, 45% of their games be really good, hey, that'll keep them involved. And I think that's the reasoning behind the way the games go. Everyone says, geez, I was on the potato team. It's not the players, I don't think. I'm not saying there's not potato players out there, because I know there are. Believe me, I've looked at some stats. I know there are. But when you have a team and you look at the players on the team and you do their stats, and I've done this, I've looked at every player on certain games, and my team has 12 players that are over 50% win rate, and they all have decent stats, and then the other team only has like 4 that have over 50% win rate, and they still stomped us. That's not lack of player judgment and stuff. That's not all of a sudden my whole team got stupid. There's a reason that happened. And it all falls back to Wargaming wants to make money. So whatever the formula they have to keep you engaged in the game, that's part of it. Tinfoil hat and all, that's my opinion. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you liked the video. I'll try to do another one in another few days here. And maybe I can get one of these out a week. Yeah. Remember, when that battlefield, shoot the enemy team.